Superhero movies are the biggest movies on the planet. They're the main attraction, the blockbusters. Marvel and DC are the big guns out there, offering brand names, notable characters, recognizable names and faces, plenty of action, and humour. In some cases, even nostalgia. If you look at the past 10 years or so, superhero movies have really took over cinema screens. They were everywhere, with Marvel taking the lead and establishing its own cinematic universe of movies and now TV shows. Recognizing the success of the Marvel movies, DC followed suit with its own cinematic universe. And while the critical reception was mixed to say the most, it did for the most part succeed on a commercial level. We even got some non-DC and Marvel movies about superheroes like Brightburn, Kick-Ass, The Samaritan, and The Umbrella Academy on Netflix, and The Boys over on Amazon Prime Video. Superheroes continued to steal the spotlight, and that hasn't entirely changed. What has changed, however, is the excitement and demand for such content. Commercially speaking, the DC and Marvel movies have been on a steady decline. Fewer people have been going to see these movies in the cinema. Why? Well, I think there are several reasons. Firstly, there's a lot of them. This year alone we had Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetle, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, The Flash, The Marvels, and we've got Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is coming out next month as of recording. That's a lot of superhero movies, 9 I counted there in total, and those are just the mainstream ones that are getting a theatrical release. If you want, you can add some of the TV shows into the mix, such as Loki Season 2, Secret Invasion, Gen V, Harley Quinn, The Flash TV show, Superman and Lois, Gotham Knights, Doom Patrol, My Adventures with Superman, and there's another 9, and there's even more of them out there which I haven't included. That's a lot of superhero content. Too much, some would say. It can be tiresome trying to keep up with it, especially when some are connected to one universe of movies or TV shows and then not others. The problem though is that superhero movies and TV shows recognize a formula that works for them, meaning that many, but not all, of the recent and upcoming movies and shows will probably adhere to that formula. That means they can be a little on the predictable side, and they all kinda follow the same sort of story. James Gunn, the writer and director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and now the head of DC Studios, has said, and I'm not quoting him here, that the way to avoid the fatigue is by writing good stories with great characters. And maybe I'm sounding a bit too much like a James Gunn fan here, but he's kind of right. And he's doubly right when you consider the success he's had in the genre. With 3 good Marvel movies, a great DC movie, and a good TV show under his belt, he kinda knows what he's on about. However, some of these movies have failed despite being good. The Flash is probably the big example. Everyone was eager to see it, mainly because of Michael Keaton's involvement as Batman. It came out, it got decent if not good reviews, but nobody went to see it. Why? I've addressed this in another video which you should probably check out. In short though, it's complicated and I'm not going to go into all the details here. One comment I noted on that video that I forgot to mention was superhero fatigue, and I acknowledged them and said they were absolutely right about that. Superhero fatigue is a thing, especially when so much content is being churned out, and especially when that content is very reminiscent of what came before it, because they're simply trying to replicate that prior success. On top of all this, these cinematic universes are constantly expanding, introducing new characters, new locations, new groups and teams. That's cool, but when you introduce something new and make it seem old and familiar at the same time, it doesn't always work. The Marvel movies are particularly struggling right now. After building up to Avengers Endgame, the clamour for more Marvel content has steadily declined. Why is that? Well, I think there's a lot of teasing things out in those movies, little delivering on those teasers, and an overall incohesive plan or goal, and just simply too much content? Are people getting sick of superhero movies? Yes, I think so. But the best way to prevent that is to constantly do something new, with great stories and great characters. If the next Spider-Man movie comes out and it follows the standard formula of all the other Spider-Man movies, guess what? It probably won't be quite as well liked as those ones. The Marvels has just came out, and it's fun, but that's about it. The stakes seem low, there's little to no connection to events of prior movies and shows, besides certain characters like Miss Marvel being in it. It's a film that shows off its heroes, has them battle a villain, and then calls it a day. And then, it teases something really cool. Why not just give us that really cool thing? These movies are always teasing the cool thing, but never giving us it. Remember when Harry Styles showed up in a teaser at the end of one of those Avengers movies? That hasn't been addressed, hinted at, or mentioned again. And it was the Eternals, I believe, not Avengers. That was back in 2021. Yeah, it's only been 2 years, but that film isn't getting a sequel that we know of. That story hasn't been expanded on, and we've had 16 movies and TV shows since then that have completely ignored it. And there are other teasers just like it. Yes, they're building to something, we know what movies they're planning and we know roughly when they'll come out, but maybe, just maybe, they shouldn't announce those movies and shows in such a way anymore. I mean, it's hard to be surprised by certain things when we know the movie is about that thing. For example, anyone who knows what Secret Wars is all about will also know exactly what to expect in that movie. Yeah, they're probably going to twist things around and do some things a bit different, but the core idea will be similar. I'm going to end this rant here though, but to conclude things, if superhero movies and shows put characters and stories ahead of action and spectacle, if they try to do something new and different than what came before, and not just adapt the same old formula with new heroes, then superhero fatigue probably doesn't matter. Look at Loki Season 2, for example. It's very original, with fun, deep stories and detailed characters. It was good. They can do it, they just need to want to do it. And Loki Season 2 wasn't concerned with the larger universe of things, so that might help as well. With things on the steady decline right now, maybe, just maybe, they'll make those changes. And if you've liked this video, if you've got something to say about this topic, please leave it in the comments and feedback down below. Subscribe to this video for more content like this, or subscribe to this channel rather, and follow me on all social media platforms at _Grant Burton. Until next time though, thanks for watching.